Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the Bill Allen case, an incident that occurred in 1968 that resulted in the death of 2 Metropolitan policemen, as well as the incarceration of at least 5 individuals that were somehow deemed to be associated with the case. And of course, we have with us to talk about the Bill Allen case this morning, Dr. Kimbrough, who is a longtime member of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Dr. Charles Kimbrough. And of course, with Dr. Kimbrough is Mr. Bobby Hill. And of course, Bobby Hill retired as a major in the Metropolitan Police Department, and at the time of the incident, Mr. Hill was a lieutenant in the Metropolitan Police Department. And of course, let me welcome you, Dr. Kimbrough, as well as you, Major Hill, to the show this morning.
Thank you.
Now, Dr. Kimbrough, what we'd like to do this morning is to, during this first segment, is to find out some information relative to the facts of this particular case. And why don't you start us off, and of course, Major Hill will join us later on, by giving us what you consider to be some significant facts of this incident that happened in 1968.
Well, we are privileged to be here with you, Dr. Haney, and any kind of information source that will get to those in power. And in this case, the power to be is the governor, is helpful. Now, it is 1968, January the 16th, 5 young black men on their way to Cincinnati was going to drop Bill Allen off at his home with a gun, 2 guns, in fact, for his father, who lived in the suburbs of the Hermitage area, Old Hickory. And they apparently were joyful. And I'm saying this as a fact because we have before us, for everybody to read and see, On the Run by Al Browning. And he associated himself and used as research information from members who didn't, who cooperated from the police department, people who were very knowledgeable about this case. And no one has refuted anything he said in 2 books, On the Run and Enough is Enough, about this case. So these young men on their way to Cincinnati, friends, had either in college or been in college. This Bill was a junior, I believe, at Tennessee State, majoring in chemistry, looking for his professional career, be that in medicine, I believe. He was the person who was going to take the guns to his father and be dropped off in the Old Hickory area, while the other guys were going to go on to Cincinnati. And they were joyful. I remember the kind of joy we had when we were involved in voter registration in other areas, and this was one of the things they had been involved in, civil rights area, getting people registered to vote. So as they left the area, they were traveling, going east, as I understand, on Herman Street. I mean, in that area. They were traveling east, going east Nashville, making the road that way. And they were in a white car. Now, get this, if you please. They were in a white car, as I understand, in 1967 Plymouth. And the policemen in that area were looking for a red car, supposedly with some people who had been involved in money orders, and they stopped them.
Very good. And of course, Major Hill, since you were at that time, and of course we're getting ready soon for our first commercial break, but when we come back, Major Hill, we want you to pick up where Dr. Kimbrough has left off by talking about how the Metropolitan Police, since you were a lieutenant at that time, became involved with this particular case at this particular point. And I think it will be at that point we'll have basically the facts of this case laid out, and then we'll be able to talk to other individuals in reference to some of the other things that were associated with it. But what you've given us so far, Dr. Kimbrough, has indicated to us that these individuals were about something without any idea or any intention, really, of committing any kind of harm to anybody or to themselves. And of course, when we come back following this first commercial break, we'll allow you, Major Hill, to continue this. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Of stopping these individuals